Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Here again, talking about things that matter. Okay? Things that I've been seeing these things and I wanted to speak on it. This is actually coming from a module of my personal development course that I'm in. And it's called The Heart Cure. So this is what I'm going to talk about. It's called The Heart Cure. A lot of times our hearts can be sick and we don't know that our hearts are sick, right? We don't know. We don't know what we don't know. So I'm here to provide information. This is something I learned about myself as well. So I'm not just pointing anybody else out. I'm talking about me too. If you don't guard your heart, whatever you allow in your heart will come out of your heart. You must deal with your heart first. The first symptom. What is coming out of your heart? How do you know you need healing? What's coming out of your heart? What is coming out of your heart and how often is it happening? What's coming out of the mouth can be an indication to what is on the heart, what's in the heart, and what we need to give attention to. Negative, cynical person, despaired, hopelessness. The heart is sick. You don't have to be dealing with a heartbreak to be heartbroken. Emotional needs not met affect the heart. So there are 10 essential emotional needs that we need as a child to age 12, right? Love, attention, touch, routine, empathy, and understanding, praise, safe boundaries, a sense of personal control and choice, and support and respect. Those are the emotional needs, okay? And sometimes those needs are not met. Affection, that's to be touched and held. It calms you. A child needs an average of 8 to 10 hugs a day. Affection is calming. Affection calms you. Attention, the need from mom or dad to be in your world. When the needs aren't met, the heart becomes stony. Pay attention to who you are and what you need. If they're not met, this affects you on different levels, right? This affects you on different levels. How do you know you need healing? What's coming out of your heart? When your needs aren't met as a child, you become angry as a child. The lack of acceptance creates performance people. It's an unmet need from childhood, right? Every unmet need is a loss we must grieve. Not resting in your soul. You have to work through the heart and work through the grievedness of what you lost. A person not showing up for you as an adult in life can trigger the pain from your childhood when the parent wasn't there. And it's like a file cabinet of your life, right? Lack of acceptance. Every area where you overreact, pay attention to that. Because you can pinpoint your pain that you never dealt with. Hello, I'm doing well. By the time we realize that what we didn't get as kids, we're grown with kids, right? We must grieve what we didn't get growing up. Easily, these are symptoms of stony hearts. Easily offended, and the stones in the heart can hinder the heart from receiving the word. You have to feel the pain to face it and grieve and forgive. We thought the stone was strong. So this is for my personal development course, and it's about a stony heart. I also have a book that I'm going to be referring to as well. It is related to a stony heart. I can, when I finish with this video, I'm going to drop the website. You can order the book from as well. This book right here helped me, and this is the person that taught the course in this personal development thing that we did. Let's see. Where was I? If there's a tone to your voice, there's a stone. Something was triggered and it changed your voice. Have you been talking to somebody and they just start yelling, start screaming? They have been triggered. Because when there's a tone to your voice, there's a stone. Okay? Something has been triggered. Instead of dealing with the mouth, deal with the heart. That's where the symptom is. Out of the heart flows the issues of life. You want to know what's on somebody's mind? Listen to what they're saying. A lot of times in my comment section, when I post different things, People be in the comment section talking about what's going on with them. It's not, maybe my post triggered something, right? And now they're going within, because I'd be like, that ain't what I said. But that's what's going on inside the heart. So this is why I felt led to share about the stony heart, because a lot of us have stony hearts and we don't know that we have the stones there, right? Those 10 essential needs, those 10 essential emotional needs. If the needs aren't met, they will run beyond the home looking for these needs, right? As a young adult, that's what I did. Those needs weren't met. So as I became a young adult, I was seeking those needs outside of the home. Good morning. And the lack of acceptance creates performance-oriented people, always performing, trying to feel good, trying to feel good enough, working 60 and 70 hours, and enough is never enough, right? Stones form in the heart when we're children, and after they've been there, and after there's been so many stones, you create a wall of self-protection and self-defense. You must feel the pain to face it in order to heal it. And again, these 10 essential needs: love, attention, touch, routine, empathy and understanding, praise, safe boundaries, a sense of personal control and choice, and support and respect. So now I'm going to go into the book, because the book just explains it in a greater detail. Okay. So a stony heart can begin to develop early in childhood, and when pain is felt but not worked through. When we are children, our hearts are open to our parents as we look to them for love and security. Each time mom yells or dad yells and gets angry and slams the door, as a child, we feel it but don't know what to do with these feelings. Parents being stressed out and disciplining out of anger can create stones in their child's hearts. If the painful event is never talked about out of fear of more anger, the child's heart can form many stones, hurt after hurt, stone after stone. A wall of self-protection is formed. Okay? So a lot of times, you're yelling at your kid because maybe somebody yelled at you, right? And we don't know that we are creating stones in their hearts. They can't express how they feel. If they're young, they can't express how they feel. They don't have the words to put to that, right? So then, let me just read more. So you can understand what I'm saying. As an adult, a person with a stony heart may have forgotten these childhood events, but the effect of the wall of self-protection is very obvious. They have overreactions, such as holding things inside and appearing to be just fine. But then all of a sudden, when the pain is triggered, they overreact and blurt out, "I'm done. I'm out of here." Have you done that? I know in relationships, honey, I was ready to go all the time. I'm done. I got to go. I didn't know how to use my words. I didn't know how to express my emotions. I wasn't taught that. I didn't see that. So just check in. Have you ever said that when something got hard or uncomfortable, you ready to, I got to go. I'm done. Guilty. Okay. Another symptom of a stony heart is the inability to stay connected in relationships. This will cause come too close, no stay away interactions. This keeps a person with a stony heart stuck in a cycle of feeling unloved. They want to be loved, but they can't keep their heart open long enough and trust long enough to receive love. The stone that formed as a child are now affecting relationships as an adult. The wall of self-protection that was built as a child is now blocking out love from God and others. Stones in the heart are formed out of childhood hurts, but over time, from the position of a stony heart, vows and judgments become the base of the navigation in the relationship. So you build up this wall. I don't want to let anybody in because I don't want to get hurt again. Love can't come in. Love can't go out. Our greatest need as children is the need for love. God intended for the home to be a safe place, a loving environment where we experience God's kind of love, which is a daily flow. The flow of love keeps our hearts open as children. But when our parents are stressed out and yelling and using harsh words to make their point of giving directions, home does not feel safe. In the environment, a child may not let it be known they're scared of daddy or fearful of mom won't come back. Anger and fear get locked up inside. It takes time for a person with a stony heart to feel safe enough to open up to share their childhood experiences, to get to the root of the overreactions out of fear or anger as an adult. If they are scolded and yelled at at growing up, they will do anything to avoid conflict and yelling. They must find a safe place with safe people who will not yell or judge them, but instead listen to their pain and love them unconditionally. I did not like to be yelled at. And so as an adult, when you start talking loud to me and start talking too crazy to me, I done shut down. I'm done. Okay? These things form as we're kids. They're formed and we don't even know they're formed. We just don't know. Until now. New information, new decision. If you're yelling at your kids, now you get to stop. Okay? I apologize. I was triggered and I started yelling. Growing up, this is what I saw. And so I thought it was okay. And you can apologize to your kids, okay? Let's see. Where was I? Okay. It takes time for a person with a stony heart to feel safe. Okay, I think I shared that. Okay. And we have known and believed the love that God have to us. God is love. He that dwelleth in love dwelleth in God, and God in him. That's John 4:16 and to 17. There are two types of love. There's unconditional love and there's conditional love. Okay, let's talk about the unconditional love. Beloved, let us love one another for the love of God, and everyone that loveth is born of God and know of God. He that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love. That's John 4:7 and 8. It can be very confusing for children when there are two types of love. Unconditional love is the love God is talking about when he said, love one another. The moment a child is born, the parents are connected to their child with unconditional love. In other words, the infant does not have to do anything to earn love. The love of their child is pure because it is not based on the child's performance. Its unconditional love continues to flow throughout the child's growing up years, and he or she will know how to receive God's love. A person who has known unconditional love from both parents as he or she grows up can readily give and receive love. And let's talk about conditional love. In a home of conditional love, there is always conditions to be met before an affirming word of love and acceptance are given. When parents set high standards and don't allow for imperfection, this gives the message that love must be earned. In this environment, children believe they can't mess up or fail. They have to work hard to be good enough to be loved. Growing up in conditional love makes it hard to pinpoint stones in the hearts because as an adult, you have been conditioned to never show imperfections. My goodness. Rules about relationship with parents can cause teenage rebellion or performance orientation. Children who grow up with the rules may comply with the rules, but as soon as they reach their teenage years, they move towards independence. They may subconsciously break the rules just to see if they are loved, or if they're loved for who they are, or for keeping the rules. Conditional love will cause performance orientation instead of authentic relationships. The work is so hard to please others and even God. They work so hard to please others and even God, but the stones in their hearts keep them from giving and receiving love in an authentic flow. They're very subtle but real symptoms of a stony heart is an inability to receive love, to receive from others. Do you find it hard to receive love from others? You could have stones in your heart. When we're children, the heart is tender and vulnerable and needs protection from the hurt and experienced by conditional love, as well as neglected, abandoned, or abuse. A stone is formed in the heart each time pain is felt, hurt after hurt. More stones are added and a wall of self-protection is built behind the wall. There's a very sensitive person who desperately needs someone to love them and understand their pain. The protecting wall. Built stone by stone, hurt after hurt. Self-protecting, they can't trust. They block receiving love from others. Keeps the real one in and the real you in and others out. Fear of rejection keeps you from being real. Lonely, isolated from meaningful relationships. Keep others at distance, not sharing who you are. Okay, so they have a little diagram here. And this diagram, you are to identify hurtful events that happen in the first 12 years of life. Okay, make a list of those hurtful. So this is some homework you can do. Okay, make a list of those hurtful events and the feelings you had when each event occurred. For example, if your father left when you were young, you write father left and then write out how it made you feel, maybe abandoned or rejected. Okay. Make a list of the hurtful events as a child and the feelings you had when the event occurred. Stones of defense. A person who has a stony heart for protection may think they will not have to feel the same hurt again as they did in childhood. But as time goes on, something similar occurs that triggers the deeply buried pain, and another level of stones begin to be built. Each time the pain is felt and not dealt with, another stone is formed and vows are made. Vows such as, I will never be taken advantage of again, or I will never trust a man again. This explains why certain things easily offend us. Our pain has been triggered and we overreact out of pain of the past, and a vow is set in place. With the wall of defense, the vows from another wall of self-protection. What triggers you? What triggers you causes you to overreact. So just check in. What triggers you? What causes you to overreact? If there's a tone, there's a stone. So once you have this information, now you can just check in. You check in with you. The wall of defense, always defending oneself. Can't admit when you're wrong. Can't heed warnings. Unteachable. Have to have the last word. Ooh, that was me. That was me. Oh, goodness. Calling myself out. Harsh responses. Can't feel the pain you inflict upon others. Very lonely, living behind a wall. Not able to share who you really are. Very little compassion for others. Oh, you don't have to do the homework. You can just keep your stone. It's like, here's the thing. In order to heal this stuff, we have to be aware of it. And you got to do your work if you want to heal. If you don't want to heal, then you just continue going on where you're going on. And that's up to you. Okay, so now make a list of the hurts that you've experienced in your adult life. As you will notice the little heart inside of the big heart. The hurts we have as an adult can be similar to the hurt as a child. If you have not released the pain from childhood, the adult hurts will have some of that pain. The adult hurt trigger the pain of the childhood hurts, and then you overreact. Okay, if you've done the work, then you all good, right? The pain of the past makes the present hurtful situations feel more painful. Identity vows that were made when a painful situations occur. So make a list of the hurtful events as an adult and the feelings you had when the event occurred. People with open hearts want to have relationship with others who also have open hearts. This is a fulfilling relationships because this is a fulfilling relationship because there are emotional connections and true fellowship occurs. Fellowship flows. A conversation is easy. You feel the meaning behind the words that are spoken. However, a person with a stony heart doesn't feel the meaning behind the words. They get to the point of their past feelings, so the relationships are just surface and not fulfilling. A stone heart can also be identified with the following characteristics: numb, distant, uncaring, cannot be real, cannot have open communications, cannot be yourself. You wear a mask, and I ain't talking about the mask we wear because of COVID-19. Okay, performance oriented, cannot trust others, pull away, isolate, loneliness. Are these any? You have any of these symptoms? And you don't have to call yourself out. Just take note of it. Take mental note of it. List any of the characteristics that apply to you. Isolation. Isolation occurs when you build a wall of self-protection around the heart and cut yourself off from relationships. You may think it's easier for you to be alone than to risk being hurt. Isolation is not the answer. It just creates another problem. And when you're in isolation, you're disconnected and emotionally unavailable to family, to friends. Isolation is a very lonely place, like living all alone on an island with no communication with the outside world. Paul warns in Ephesians 4:18-19 not to get to this point. He says that when we get to the point where we are past feeling, we have alienated ourselves from the life of God, overcoming a stony heart. If you realize your heart is stony and your ability to feel has shut down, you must reach out for help. This is a very serious condition. You cannot overcome a stony heart on your own. A stony heart has to be healed through safe relationships. This is why relationships matter. This is why I'm always talking about relationships. In order to get life right, you got to get relationships right. And the people that say, "Oh, I don't do this and I don't do that," there's stones there. You got to unpack those stones. You got to remove those stones so you can heal. Because healthy relationships are available, but it first starts with us. Okay? It starts with us. You can't fix nobody. You can't change nobody but you. You know how hard it was to change me? You think you can change somebody else? Honey, try. Regaining the ability to open your heart and trust again requires a safe place with a safe person or group of people who will allow you to be real and work out the pain and disappointments you are troubled about. Who is your safe person? I have to replay to know what is you describing me. Also, I'm talking about a stony heart. I'm talking about a stony heart. A lot of people have stones in their heart and they are not aware of. So I just read off some symptoms of stony heart. And what else? I think I'm complete. I was gonna read this other stuff, but I feel like I done gave y'all so much right now. I don't want to blow your mind with this information, because information is like, I don't want to have information overload, because that happens to me sometimes. But really, I just wanted to share this because I see comments, I see feedback, and it's really related to what's going on in people's heart. And a lot of people's heart have stones in them. They have hurt, they have pain from the past, from childhood. They have childhood pain. And the comments that I see are hurt. They're hurt. They're hurting. People are hurting and they don't know they're hurting. They don't. They've been hurting for so long, they've become numb. Right? And you can't see you. You can't see your blind spots. You can't see it. A person, stones form in the heart when we're children. And after there's been so many stones, you create a wall of self-protection and defense. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I just wanted to share this because I see it and I feel it. I mean, I'm like, the comments, the responses that I get from my things that I post, I'm like, man, they hurting. They are really hurting. They got some stones there. If there's a tone, there's a stone, right? The stuff that's triggering you, it ain't about what the person posts. It's about like why you feeling the way you feel about what they said. It ain't about them. You don't even know them. Like, so really, I get a lot of feedback, even in school, right? So I'm getting comfortable with getting the feedback, because feedback is performance based. It's not on me as a person. So when we're able to look at it differently, it changes the way we look at it. So now I'm looking at it like it's about them. It's not about me. It's about them. So I'm like, man, people have some stones in their heart. People are hurting, and they've been hurting for so long they don't know they've been hurting, because that was me. My Instagram name was Nice Nasty. And I thought that was something. I thought I was something. I was numb. I was hurt. I was angry. I was bitter. I had all of these stones that had been built up since childhood. And nobody couldn't come in and nobody couldn't get out, including me. That's why I talk about it. Because I see myself in the comments. I see the old me. That's how I used to respond. I used to want to attack people because they done said something that done pissed me off. And it's about what was going on inside of me. It wasn't about them. They was just shining a light. Right? They was shining a light. So I was like, well, let me talk about the heart cure. This is my personal development course I'm in. And I said, let me share this right here. Okay? Because if you don't guard your heart, whatever you allow in your heart will come out of your heart. Right? You must deal with your heart first. The first symptom was coming out of your heart. How do you know you need healing? What's coming out of the heart? What's coming out of the heart, and how often is it happening? Right? What's coming out of the mouth is an identification to what's coming out of the heart and what we need to give attention to. Negative, cynical, despair, hopelessness, The heart is sick. You don't have to be dealing with a heartbreak to be heartbroken. You don't have to be dealing with a heartbreak to be heartbroken. What else? I'm just doing a summary right now for those who joined late, who have just now joined. The key is safe relationships. What if you never known safe relationships? That's a good question. So let me help you with that, because I was going to go into that with a safe relationship. First, we have to be safe. I know that I had to be safe. It started with me, because if I'm not safe with me, nobody else is safe with me, and I'm not safe with anybody else. So I had to do my work. So when it comes to a safe person, it can be a spouse or a friend, or who can listen to your pain and not react. The pain must be worked through in a safe place where you feel free to express how you feel. If you have been shut down for a long time, it will take some work to work through the painful events of your life and release buried feelings. A safe person must learn how to be safe by listening and not reacting. Any sudden reactions can cause you to draw back and go into a shell like a turtle. Draw back and closes up. If your safe person is a spouse, they must be understanding how to create a safe place for you so you can work through your pain in your heart. If you have shut down and cut off your spouse, you need to realize this is serious. Tell them they need to understand what is going on. A spouse that has been cut off emotionally cannot sustain for a long period of time without some hope of that relationship can be alive again. The condition of your heart is so important, for it is the wellspring of life. That's Proverbs 4:23. If you recognize you have a stony heart, you must resist the fleeing from life and isolating yourself. Reach out and ask for help and work through the hurts one at a time, removing each stone by talking about the painful event. Start making a list. Healing your heart from past hurts is the only way to overcome a stony heart. You must press into the process and continue to work through the hurts from the past, one painful event at a time. God will help you. He has promised to do two new things. If you will work through the stones and release them, he promises a new heart and a new spirit. He has promised in his word that he will remove the stones and give you a new heart, and you can feel again. A new heart will also give you a new spirit will I put within you. I will take away the stony heart out of the flesh and give you a heart of flesh. Ezekiel 36:26. So, the stony hearts. I talk about this because I experienced this. This was me. I had stones in my heart from the past. People that weren't there, people that hurt me. I was mad as hell with people because they didn't show up and they didn't give me what I needed. And so as an adult, I began to seek that outside. Like, we see these women doing all this stuff. We're like, well, why are they doing all that? There's some stones there. They didn't get some things, as a child. So now they're seeking this from men. I don't care how much sex you have. I don't care how naked you are. They cannot give you that. You cannot get that from doing those things. I felt that in my bones. You cannot get that from doing those things. Okay? When you know better, you do better. But we got to address these stones that are in our heart that we're not aware of. Awareness is the first step. And you can't do this by yourself. You can't. When you think you're safe and they use it against you, that ain't your, that person is not safe, right? That's not the person. Because a person is going to be able to take in what's going on with you and not judge. Like, because if you're talking to somebody, you're sharing something and you see them, oh my God, I can't believe that's not a safe person. You have to be a safe person. You have to be a safe person, and you have to use your discernment to know who is a safe person, because everybody ain't safe. They're not. I went through so much training. Let me stop this podcast.